The answer that I am looking for in this book, which I eventually did find, was what differentiates a good surgeon from a great surgeon. In surgery, the truth often starts as blasphemy. The profession of a surgeon has gone through many ups and downs, from being considered a glorified barber's job to being one of the most glamorous professions in the world, to now being looked upon as a necessary evil. So as an enthusiastic and a budding surgeon always ready to learn, I am always on the lookout for some pearls of wisdom, some advice that can help me sharpen my knife in the world of surgery and understand the craft even better. We are talking about Dr. Tehmton Udvadia and the memoir which is written, which I really loved reading, and I thought I would share some anecdotes and some cherry-picked personal favorite take-home messages from the book in this video. Dr. Tehmton Udvadia is like the father figure to all modern day surgeons, especially in India. He is the pioneer of laparoscopic surgery in the country and is credited with heading the team which performed the first laparoscopic gallbladder surgery or cholecystectomy in India. Thankfully, there is a crisp description of what goes into making of a great surgeon, and it has less to do with the skill of surgery as mentioned in the surgical textbook and more to do with the personality, the quality, the character of the person inside the surgeon. So what are these qualities? These qualities are that of honesty, humility, empathy, passion and leadership. Let's start with honesty, and I would like to quote directly from the book. When I started surgery, the surgeon could do no wrong. The bond the patient shared with the surgeon was so strong that the surgeon was looked upon as part of the family. The picture is totally different today. The patient often views the surgeon with mistrust and apprehension, even fear, and not always without reason. If we have any hope of restoring the relationship of complete trust that existed earlier, we should return to talking with, listening to, touching and feeling the patient with sincere empathy and concern, regardless of their socio-economic status. Now this fills me up with hope. I truly wish to see a world where surgeons are believed, trusted the way they used to, the kind of stories which we heard back in the day. I would really love to see that time coming back, and hopefully within my lifetime. Today when I live my life as a surgeon, I see myself more as a service provider who provides a service of surgery in exchange of a fees rather than somebody who brings a difference in somebody's life. Dr. Udvadia in his book says that if you accept your failure, then the sting of the failure can become far less. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, remember, and move on. This is not possible unless and until you are truly honest with yourself and your patients. Trust creates trust amongst your patients, amongst your peers, your colleagues, and I guess that is the only way by which we can bring back the glory days of surgery once again. The second take-home message is that of humility and silencing your ego. There is absolutely no harm in thanking or apologizing to your nurse, the assistant, the intern, the anesthetist, the ward boy, and there is absolutely no ego when it comes to asking for help to your colleagues. Do no harm is the cardinal rule for a doctor or a surgeon, and that should not be broken, especially at the cost of proving yourself as a surgeon. It is also your faith in humility, honesty, and trust that helps you survive the initial days of your struggling practice. It was really relatable and heartwarming to see somebody of Dr. Udvadia's caliber struggle in the days of his private practice in the initial few years. In spite of doing MS and then FRCS, he still had to sit in an empty OPD, sometimes days at length, and wait for patients to come. During this time, he was busy writing articles for pharmaceutical companies and get paid for it, which I personally found very jovial and very relatable, because I also make YouTube videos like these when I'm free in order to numb down the frustration of sometimes not seeing patients days at end. Humility ensures that the surgeon knows his limits and is willing to accept, learn and move on. No surgeon is free of mistakes, and every mistake is a lesson in humility which needs to be learned well, remembered, recalled at the time of next mishap so that you don't do the same mistake again. It is not a matter of shame but of credit to undo average work and have very high standards of detail, skill and perfection. As a doctor, you come across all kinds of people, rich, poor, educated, illiterate, people who take good care of their health, and there are people who couldn't have cared less. But it is completely your responsibility to understand the person before you understand the disease. And only when you put these two pieces of information together can you treat a person and not the reports and investigations which lie in front of you. We are talking about empathy and the ability to understand and contextualize the pathology with the person. The anecdote which really hit me home was that it was always considered that people who are rich, who are busy, get gastric ulcers, for example lawyers and bankers and politicians and businessmen, because they have a lot of stress in their lives. However, Dr. Odwadia argued that poor people get gastric ulcers more often because they don't really know where their next meal would come from. So it is only after having such deep insight and understanding of the person's life, his lifestyle, that you can give your best treatment possible. Another anecdote which I really liked was that people who are poor have a far greater sense of dignity than rich people. Hence, it is absolutely unacceptable to break the news of loss of a patient in a casual manner or in an insensitive manner. Patients should be reassured, listened to, and most importantly, cheered up. A leader not just leads with his mastery of surgery, but with his deep sense of ethics, understanding, empathy, and his basic approach to the whole environment and the people around him. Another lesson that I learned from the book is about leadership, and having those leadership qualities separate you as an average surgeon from somebody who is a great surgeon. As a leader, you are the captain of the team, and it is completely your responsibility to understand the team as well as you understand the patient and his disease. You have to know the limitations of your team, the capacity of your team, and at least the name of everybody in your team. Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with the surgeon. Especially in case of a mishap, the responsibility is completely on the shoulders of a surgeon and not the assistant or the anesthetist or the nurse or the ward boy, the intern, no one else but the surgeon. Surgery and teamwork go hand in hand, and it is a very sorry state of affairs to see a surgeon throwing tantrums, throwing instruments, scolding everybody around him, the assistant, the anesthetist, the nurse, the OT light, living, non-living, irrespective, and basically being all anxious and worked up inside the OT. The surgeon has to be calm, composed, somebody who can be looked upon, somebody who can be called for help in the time of crisis, and not the one who is actually inducing the crisis. When it comes to passion, since childhood I have heard that one should be passionate in whatever they do. And when it comes to surgeons and doctors, we are generally held to very high expectation of dedication and passion and hard work, but nobody really explains or describes what passion really looks like, and especially as a surgeon, as a doctor, what passion really means. So far I understood that passion means that you keep on doing hard work and collecting more number of procedures under your belt, sleeping less, working more, taking less holidays. Perhaps that was passion. But here, after reading the book, I understood that passion is not working like a donkey. Passion basically means your ability to overcome obstacles. In his words, success is not measured by achievements, but the obstacles which you overcame to achieve that success. Passion can compensate for the lack of resources. Passion is really tested in the face of self-doubt. For example, when Dr. Odwadia was planning his first laparoscopic gallbladder surgery, he faced stiff resistance from a lot of his colleagues, his seniors, other surgeons, and it is only his passion, his ethics, his empathy, his deep sense of understanding that filled him up with confidence to carry out the procedure safely, and rest, as we all know, is history. The take-home message is that if you do your job with integrity and passion, then you cannot harm the patient, you will not do anything wrong with the patient, and at the same time move your craft, your surgery forward. You will add more progress and not accidents when it comes to advancing your career, your branch, your expertise. However, being passionate does not mean that you will be free of mistakes. This was one of the big misconceptions that I had in mind, which got broken after I read the book. I thought passionate people are always correct. They are so obsessed with their craft that they cannot do no wrong. But being passionate means being dedicated, learning from your mistakes rather than expecting that you will never make mistakes. Having said that, the life of a passionate person is often not that of ease and comfort. Leaving the herd, leaving the tribe is not easy, and charting your own path in the face of self-doubt, doubt from people around you, resistance from people around you, and many other obstacles that you have to overcome to prove your point. However, Dr. Odwadia adds that if you follow the path of your passion, then you truly get a clear conscience and a good night's sleep. The ultimate proof of surgical success is the outcome. The surgeon, the surgical team, the hospital, everything else just boiled down to the enhancement in the quality of life of the person that you have operated upon. And as we all have learned so far, that it is not just the surgical textbook which can make you a great surgeon. There are a lot of other qualities that you need to pick up on the way, which can eventually turn you into a person who can bring a positive change in somebody's life. These can be qualities like your cognitive abilities, your decision-making abilities, your ability to handle stress, anxiety, your ability to talk to people, form a team, make sure that the team runs flawlessly, and so many other different things which are not there in the textbook, which are not taught in medical colleges, which eventually make you a person who, on top of being a surgeon, is also a good quality person. So as a closing note, Dr. Odwadia identifies that there are three kinds of surgeons. The first one are the ones who learn from others' mistakes. The second one are the ones who learn from their own mistakes. And the third ones are the ones who never learn anything at all. So I just hope that we fall into the first or the second category and we carry forward our spirit of lifelong learning and become better doctors, better surgeon, better people. It is not the nature of your medical degree, but the quality of the person that makes a great surgeon or a great doctor. There is a lot more wisdom in this book than I could summarize in a hopefully short video. I have cherry-picked on the ideas that I really loved, that really resonated with me. However, I would really encourage you to go ahead, read the book on your own. There's a lot of discussion about government policies and the debate about alternative medicine, doctors being allowed to perform surgeries and so on and so forth. There are very valuable lessons in the book about them. So read the book, let me know what do you think about the book. If you're really wondering how to get the book, then you will find a link in the description box. And with that, I would sign off and would really love to know your feedback on the book, this video. And with that, I will see you very soon in the next one. Now, reading this book is especially fun because you are reading the memoir of a person who is still alive, living and breathing and hale and hearty. He's from the colleges that most of us have heard about in India, and a lot of us have studied in these colleges at some point in time. Hence, this book is relatable and you don't feel like you're reading about somebody from a different era or a different country. Reading this book is like sitting with Dr. Odwadia for a cup of chai and absorbing all the wisdom, the anecdotes, the knowledge, the insight which he's gathered throughout his lifetime. It was also very comforting to look at the struggles of such a great figure in surgery. Because generally, at least in my head, I associated people who struggle with being mediocre. I always thought that people who are great, who are illustrious, never really had the mundane problems of average people with average skills and average IQ. However, the memoir opened up a side of life of great people, great surgeons, which I did not know earlier. In my head, before I read the book, I think it was most about how many cases have you performed, how much experience do you have under the belt, what institute, what college are you from. But like the name of the book suggests, there is much more to what makes a surgeon than the science and the skills and the understanding of the surgical textbook. Another situation where empathy can literally save your life is when there is a loss of patient.